Hello and welcome to this video introducing Galgus Test Center. Galgus Test Center is designed to be a complete and thorough utility for testing wireless networks. It provides an extensive array of options to compare and validate wireless networks and to fine-tune and calibrate them. The software itself provides the ability to connect clients to access points and then measure the throughput to the interfaces. Within the test center, we can define the access point that these clients will be connecting to. We can define the SSID, the encryption, the key. We can also choose the radio within a dual band access point. We can select the 5 GHz, 2.4 GHz radios or both together. For the purpose of this video, we're going to connect the clients with a standard connection. They will connect randomly to the best AP. Once the clients are connected to the access points, we're ready to check the status of the clients. There are two options, the table option and the graph option. We'll first go to the table option. We click on check status and the check status table is updated accordingly. We now get a breakdown of all our clients. We can see the IP address, the MAC address, the SSID, the signal to noise ratio, transmission power, the channel they're connected on, and the current status of the client. We now go to our graph option. We click on check status and the software produces a graphical representation of how the clients are connected to the access points. We can also see the PC that's running the test center software and how that's connected straight into the access point. Once we're happy the clients are connected to the APs, we're ready to perform our tests using the test center. To do so, we go to test suite configuration. Here we can define the number of clients that will take part in the test. We can also define the types of actions the clients will be performing in any test. We can define the duration of the test. We can define the number of streams. And we can also define the number of iterations of any defined test. We have two configurable options for you. There's the TCP configuration and the UDP configuration. We can also define the types of actions the clients will be performing in any test. You can choose the direction of the flow of traffic. There's upload, download, or even bidirectional. You can do that both for TCP and UDP. In sweep clients, we set a fixed data rate per client and incrementally increase the number of clients requesting the fixed data until the amount of data received falls below that requested. We also have sweep rates where there's a fixed number of clients and we incrementally increase the amount of data requested. For instance, we could go from 1 megabits per second to 2 megabits per second and keep going until the point where the amount of data we receive falls below that what we request. There are a couple of measure methods that can be defined. Measure method 1, which gives an unlimited data rate and a continuous flow for the complete duration of a test. And measure method 2, where we can define a certain amount of data to be downloaded within a certain amount of time. For the purpose of this video, we'll do a TCP download test. We'll use a sweep rate starting at 1 megabit per second. Once we're happy with the configuration of our clients and the type of actions they're going to be performing, we're ready to start the test. To do so, we launch the test suite. It can take a fair few minutes for the test to complete, so I'll just pause the video here. The tests have now completed, so I'm ready to review the results. To do so, I go to the results option. There's a results table option and a results graphical option. If I click on the table option, we get a breakdown of the throughputs per client. We can see the average throughput, maximum and minimum throughputs per sweep rate in the test. As you can see, the results are pretty consistent. It shows we're obtaining the requested throughput for each incremental step in the amount of data requested. The same here for the UDP throughput. The average, minimum and maximum are obtained against the amount of data requested. If we scroll down, we can see a breakdown of the clients and the individual throughputs they're achieving in each sweep. The first sweep shows that each of the clients is achieving the 1 megabit per second requested throughput. We scroll down and we can see the next sweep rate, which is increased up to 2 megabits per second. Once again, we can see that each client has achieved the requested throughput. And so on. We scroll down through the various sweep rates from 3 to 4 to 5 megabits per second. We can see that the throughputs have been achieved. And we get the same for the UDP sweep rates, starting at 1 megabit per second. We keep scrolling down, we can see each sweep rate, 2 megabits per second, 3 megabits per second, 4 megabits per second, and we can see that the clients are comfortably achieving this throughput. You can see there is the option here to clear the results if needed. We'll now scroll all the way up back to our results section and we'll get a graphical breakdown of this data. We click on Results Graph. This takes a few seconds to process. First off, we can see the iteration summary. We can see the sweep rates plotted here on the graph. We scroll down a little and we can see a breakdown of the TCP tests showing the throughput. If we hover the cursor over the graph, we can see how the client throughput changes against time. We scroll down and we can see a graphical representation of sweep rate 2, where the clients are all requesting 2 megabits per second. Once again, you can hover the cursor and see how the throughput goes against time. The same here for sweep rate 3, where we request 3 megabits per second. Once again, hover the cursor along the graph. The same here for sweep rates 4 and 5. And we keep scrolling down across sweep rates 6, 7, 8, 9, and all the way up to 10 megabits per second. We now see the UDP throughput per sweep rate, starting at 1 megabits per second, sweep rate 1, and scrolling down across sweep rates 3, 4, 5, etc. We can go all the way down to sweep rate 10 megabits per second, viewing each individual graph. We'll scroll all the way back up to the top. And we have the option to export this results data into a .dat file or into .xls spreadsheet format. That completes the overview of Galgus Test Center. Thank you for watching.